This is Team Virtual Roll Call, and this is our wish list and shortcomings video for some of the features that we were unfortunately unable to implement for this semester. The team is very proud of the features that we weren't able to implement, but unfortunately, due to time constraints, the following items are topics and features that we weren't able to cover for the fall semester, and that hopefully the next group is able to implement for the next version of Virtual Roll Call. So I'm going to go through some of the user stories that we weren't able to implement, starting with the add document confirmation. So as a supervisor, I would like to add a document to the database so that I can view the metadata about the document in the system. Now, we were able to add a document user story, but there's no confirmation for it currently, so I'm going to demonstrate. So if I go to the supervisor panel, I'm able to have a manage document section, and here I can upload a document. So for example, I'm going to have a document called add document. I'll call it added, and I'll make the category archives, and I'll upload it. Now, as you can see, there's no confirmation that lets the user know that the document was added correctly. But if I refresh the page, I'm able to see the document that I just added to the system, which is not the kind of behavior that we wanted. We wanted a confirmation to appear, so hopefully that feature gets added in the next version. Next, we have a change role view. So as an administrator, I would like to change my role-based view to supervisor or officer so I can check that customization additions and documents are being added properly. Now, if I go to the administrator console, we can see that there is an administrator, supervisor, and officer role. But if I click on this, and officer as well, then the user is not routed. The reason being because we could have added a link to the supervisor view and had it come to this position here, and also had them go route to the officer. But then there would have been security issues, because then the officer would have been trapped in those views, and hitting the back button would allow them to go back to the administrator, which could cause potential backdoors. So for now, we left these as placeholders for the next version. Alright, so the next one is to lock user. So as an administrator, I want users to be locked out of the system after 5 minutes, unsuccessful login attempt, so that I can strengthen the security of the system. So when a person attempts to log in, currently, if they enter incorrect credentials, for example, they get that they have invalid credentials. Please try again. What our product owner wanted was that after 5 invalid credentials attempts, the username here, for example, if they tried to log in as this user, would be locked out, and they wouldn't be able to access the system unless the supervisor would go to the reset password module and then reset the password of the user that was locked. That is something that was unfortunately not able to be implemented as well. Then we have batch add user. So as an administrator, I would like to be able to add multiple users in one batch so that I don't have to manually add each one at a time. So again, going to the admin role, you can add a user one at a time, but what the product owner wants eventually added was that they could perhaps export from a CSV file, and then they would be able to add more than one user at a time, perhaps 10 users. So next we have the change display mode. As an officer, I would like to switch the display to either night or day mode so that I can view the site in lighter colors during the day and darker colors during the night. So this is a wish list that was desired if, for example, officers are in their cars at night. They would be able to change the display into colors that maybe are more fitting for a night view, and then switch it back to the bright colors during the day at will. Then we have add document quiz. So as a supervisor, I would like to be able to create quizzes that must be completed by the officer after viewing the document associated with the quiz, so that I can ensure that the officer has understood the information in the document. So what happened is a supervisor would be able to create a quiz document, set up the correct or incorrect answers for a quiz, and then the officer would take that quiz given a time limit. So this was definitely a wish list item, and it would just be used to make sure that officers were correctly understanding the information. Another wish list item was add user logs. So as a supervisor, I would like to view and export user activity logs that record whether a user has viewed a document and associated quiz attempt data, so that I can hold users accountable for the information I share with them. Again, so this would build off the document quiz template. So for example, if an officer was required to take a quiz, then they took it, the system would record that that officer took a quiz at a certain date and time, so that then a supervisor will be able to confirm if an officer is doing their viewing, I guess, the documents uploaded in time. And then there's archive documents. So as an administrator, I would like to be able to set the time frame for which unpinned documents are automatically archived, so that I can efficiently manage the storage on my department server. So for example, if you go to the officer view and click on any particular category, you can see that there's documents that are either pinned or unpinned. And so pinned documents are documents that are considered urgent and should be posted until actually listed as unpinned by the supervisor. And unpinned documents are documents that are maybe not so important but read at the earliest convenience. However, documents have metadata that lets the officers know when the document is uploaded, and after a certain amount of time, the desired functionality is that this, for example, would be moved out of the unpinned documents in the written directives and then moved to this folder called archives. And archives would be all the files that were, after a certain amount of time, moved to this folder to save up space from the categories. Alright, so then we have add watch orders. So as a supervisor, I would like to add watch orders into the system so that they can later be viewed by officers in the app. And then likewise, the next user story is view watch orders. So as an officer, I would like to view all the watch orders relative to my current location on a map so that I can plan my visitation routes accordingly. So going back to the officer view, there is a folder that's called watch orders. And so watch orders and the next version will actually be more of, for example, an officer is assigned to watch over a neighborhood. Let's say a crime occurred, and so an officer's shift will require them to drive around and do a watch of that neighborhood or house. And so officers will then be able to view, let's say, a map application that will allow them to type in the address of where the watch order is listed, and then they can check based off the location of their current location and be able to kind of plan their route accordingly. So that's what this watch orders tab will be able to do, and that's why it's currently in the wish item due to time constraints. Then we have shared text information. So as a supervisor, I would like to be able to input updates into a free-form text box so that I can share information with officers that don't necessarily exist in a document form. So for example, a supervisor, they're currently in the manage documents section able to upload documents only that currently exist inside a folder, as you can see here. But another implementation of this could be that they could click a button that says add document, and then a text box would appear, and then the supervisor would be able to manually type in the text file that they want to be uploaded. So again, these are for files that don't currently exist, but it's just created and then and then added into the system after the officer creates a create button, for example. So we have view document app. As an officer, I would like to view documents within the app versus downloading it to my computer so that I can quickly traverse the information my supervisor is sharing with me. So currently, when an officer clicks on a document, they're prompted to either download or open with the suggested file here. But PDFs, for example, one of the product owner wanted was that once they click on the document, it could actually open within the application itself as a module, for example, so that officers could quickly view the information on the browser itself. And then finally, we have add password encryption. So as an administrator, I would like to add password encryption to user passwords so that I can improve the security of the site. So unfortunately, user passwords are stored as plain text inside the database, which for security reasons are obviously not very good. So it's important for the next version of virtual roll call to have user passwords encrypted once the administrator adds users to the website, so that user accounts are not compromised. So that's it for all the wish list items for virtual roll call version 1. And we hope that the next version of virtual roll call are able to add some or all of the items in the wish list. So thank you very much, and thanks for watching.